Sorry, peeps, I'm really sorry about that. I had to let my husband know in a few seconds of phone call that I was going to be talking at my phone for an extended period of time. So let's see if it worked. Now I have to start all this crap over. I was so proud of myself for actually getting something to work. What? All right, live chat. Pop that sucker out. All right. Yeah, I'm not really sure now that I've had to cancel the original stream and start over again that this is even going to work, or if anybody's gonna want to hang out. But that's okay. We press forward. So I wanted to talk to you guys about my newest stay of absence while being on YouTube. It's been like 3 weeks to a month since I last uploaded a video, and I've just been really hectically busy in my day job and also in my personal life. So unfortunately, I just haven't gotten around to making any videos. But those are videos that I then have to edit, and it becomes a whole thing. And this just felt like a much more informal interaction with my YouTube community as something that I could just sort of pop in and say what's up and have a glass of wine, and I can tell you what I did today. So my husband's grandmother passed away a few weeks ago, a little over a month ago, and it's very sad saying goodbye. And now his family has the very difficult task of cleaning out her house, which is an incredibly emotional experience for everyone involved. But they've gone through, I think, the hardest part of it now. And the current process is to empty the house so that they can eventually put it on the market. And our task today was, I couldn't help because I injured my back a few weeks ago, but what happened was they had to move out a great deal of the furniture that was going to be kept and put in storage, and I went along just because it was sort of suggested to me. And my husband's mother was very eager to show me things and say, if you want anything, take it, because it's either going to get donated or thrown away, and if you can rescue anything that you want, go for it. So it feels slightly delicate to talk about it, because I don't know, I don't want to be too glib and be look at this haul of stuff that I got from my husband's grandma's house. But truthfully, it just felt really sweet to go through some of her old stuff. I didn't really get to know her very well. She had just turned 90 before she died, and she had lived, an incredibly full life, and it was touching and very. It was a privilege, certainly, to get to explore the memories of this person who I didn't really get to know that well. She was in poor health the entire time that I knew her, and was very hard of hearing, so it was very hard to carry on a conversation with her. So the one thing that I did not take with me, because I didn't feel it was right to, there was this tiny little diary about yay big that had her entries in it, one-page entries for the year of 1947, which was the year that she got married. And it was so cute, from January all the way until whenever she sort of gave up writing and put the diary away somewhere in the summer. There was this whole courtship between her and her future husband. And I thought that was so cute. Oh, I loved reading it, and it was just very simple because she had to be concise with her entries. They were only a page long. But it was just so sweet and very quaint, and old-fashioned for sure. But it was very nice. They went to the movies a lot, which I thought was an adorable experience for a young couple to go to. And they had a very quick sort of whirlwind engagement where they got engaged. They decided together that they wanted to get engaged, and he wanted to get her a ring, and then I guess they got married in November of that year, but they had only gotten engaged in February, March. So, much shorter time, not as much aplomb. as I think modern weddings often get, with like the bridesmaids and the flowers and this and that. They even argued a little bit about whether or not they were going to have a church wedding, which I thought was really funny. He just wanted to get hitched. Oh, hello from Idaho. Hello, Idaho. Thank you for joining me today. I can't see you on the big chat, but I'm glad I got to see your comment at least. Okay, so since you just popped in, to recap, I am going through a box of old things that I have procured from my husband's grandmother's house. She has recently passed, and his mom, who is his grandmother's daughter, was very eager to like rehome some of these items, and she wanted to like send me home with a box of things, which I thought was very sweet of her to want to like pass that on to me. So I'm gonna just informally go through this box. Thank you, I appreciate that. And show you what I got. So the first thing, why are people always calling me when I'm doing the live thing? Hush now, go away. I get like spam calls from all over the country, if that's really where they're calling from. So the first thing I wanted to show you is, isn't this cool? This is like a Singer sewing kit, and it folds up into this box. And then the top is like squishy, it's like a pin cushion. And then look at that! All of these lovely sewing threads in all different colors. There's like a little cavern in the middle that has these very pretty jewelly looking sewing pins in a purple pail. I thought that was so cute. I think my husband's mom, my mother-in-law, feels like we're sort of kindred spirits because we're both really crafty. She makes greeting cards as like her personal hobby and like side business now that she's retired from office work, and I think anytime she can like bestow like art supplies or similar items onto me, she gets like this swell of pride. It's very cute. This is probably not something that I'm going to unpack, but this is a giant bag of taper candles. My mother-in-law knows me very well. She knows that I like art supplies and candles. Oh, I'm so excited to show you these. So, I have about the same amount of candles. I know, it's just a thing, right? We just have to have a reserve of candles. What if the power goes out? What are we supposed to do? What if our power goes out and then our phones die? How are we going to see in the dark? So, I have this, obsession is probably a strong word, but I have this fascination with velvet paintings. I was talking with a coworker actually, because she has this hilarious velvet painting hanging above her desk, and I was like, oh, I want a velvet painting so bad. I just think they're so gaudy and amazing. So I found these. This is one, and then, oop, this is the other. This is my husband's grandmother's family are English, and they're from Torquay, and this is, I believe, some paintings of, this is a painting of Torquay, and then the other one with the thatched roofs is the village where his ancestors used to live, with like all the thatched roofs, and I thought they were so pretty. So I'm going to find some nice frames for them. But I'm so excited. My first velvet painting. Let me see if I can try to pop the chat out one more time. Because live chat. I don't see any, I see more comments popping up. Hello. I see more comments popping up on my phone than I do on the computer, which is none. I see none on the computer. So I don't know. Maybe if I refreshed. Ah, there it goes. Hooray. Okay, so live chat. All right, that's better now that I can like see the words a little bit more clearly. How's everybody doing tonight? You can talk at me too. This is very informal. Whoops. So, I can't remember the details of the mission, but anyway, his grandmother and her husband used to work at a Lutheran mission on a Navajo reservation, and this was one of the items that they had purchased from the Navajo reservation, this sort of little doll. When she sits, she's sort of encircled by her beautiful skirt, and I just thought she was very sweet, so I decided to take her home too. I like her. I love vintage dolls like this that have like the really big, like sort of very coy looking eyes. I know something you don't know. Well, another candle. This one says Magic Creations, what is it? Copyright 1997. That's really small print. But this used to be an aromatherapy candle, and now it's like, it doesn't smell like anything. So I'm just going to burn it. I got a little embroidery hoop. This is a tiny one. I don't have one this small. And then, let's see. Oh, so my mom collects crosses, and I found this one. This is also from the, good night. This is also from the Navajo reservation, where they had like all of the Christian stuff from the Lutheran mission. So apparently someone at the reservation made this cross, and I thought it was very pretty, and I thought I'd give it to my mom because she has like a little collection of crosses on her wall. Let's see. Oh, okay, so, oh crap, I can't remember where my mother-in-law said that these came from. But there's an assortment. There was an assortment of costume jewelry at the house, and this was one of those instances where I just kind of felt like, oh, how exciting, because I'm always very entranced by costume jewelry, old vintage costume jewelry. I always think it's kind of cool that, you know, these things don't have any real monetary value, but they certainly have a lot of character. And like I found these are just, I think, wood beads. Yeah, they're made of wood, and they're just carved into tiny little elephants. And there's this tiny charm bracelet. Oh no, a kitty scratching at the door. What say you? Should I let him in? He'll climb all over the stuff. But anyway, yeah, we found these lovely, somebody's like, yes! We found these lovely seashell beads. And I just can't remember where they're from. I want to say that they're from Jamaica, but I don't think so. All right, hold on. Let me let in the cat. Come here, bud. Oh, meow. Come here. There's an entire internet out there that's dying to see you. I'm gonna pick him up. He's not gonna like it, but oh well. We're unboxing. What do you think about that, Sly? Say thank you. He's a wormy one. He really doesn't like to be held, but he does like a good lap cuddle, and he likes to shed on me. What next, Sly? What should we show off next? Oh, well, there's more jewelry. I mean, I'm not going to pull out every item and show it to you guys, but there's an assortment of beads, and I found this compact. It doesn't have any makeup in it anymore, but I thought it was very pretty. I like to save like charms and lost earrings. Have you ever found like a lost earring on the street? I frequently run into lost earrings, and I like to hold on to them so that I can use them to make charms and, you know, embellish boxes and things. I like getting crafty. Oh, and I also found, there was a whole bunch of like men's apparel and stuff like that and men's accessories, and I found a very tasteful tie pin for my hubby to wear. I liked that one. Oh, okay. So this next one's pretty cool too. So the old folks, oh, thank you, darling. I realized that I'm doing the classic thing of like responding to comments without actually saying what they say on the live stream, which is bad form in my opinion. So someone just told me, your videos are always so calming. The commenter was Mel Anen. Thank you, darling. I really appreciate that. So the old folks liked to play card games back in the day, and there were a lot of decks of cards, and a lot of them had been very worse for wear, like they've just been weathered by, musty, dusty old cabinets over the years. But this little kit, it's like a little cardboard drawer, and it has 2 sets of decks, and then the backs of the decks look like that. Aren't those so pretty? This one looks very autumnal, and then this one looks very summery, and I thought they were lovely. And as if that weren't enough, I don't know how well this will register on camera, but these old decks have like metallic on them. Oh, you can see a little bit. There's like shiny metallic gold on that one, and then the other one has shiny metallic silver. So these were like nice playing cards, and I am only vaguely aware of cartomancy with playing cards. Oh, you can see the silver one actually a lot better. Yeah, there you go. Cartomancy with playing cards, which is something that I'm only vaguely familiar with. But I thought that these would be good practice decks for that, because I'm more familiar with things like tarot and oracle decks, but anything that actually has like a ordinary set of playing cards used for divination, that's not something I've ever done before. So I thought that these would actually be good cards for either studying that or doing it. So we will see. I'm excited. I'm excited to try it out. And it all slides together very nicely. Boom. Thank you for those of you that have decided to join me tonight. I'm very blessed. So one of the things about my husband's grandma that I really loved about her, it was one of the few things that I felt like was an outlet for me to actually get to know her, was that with every birthday card she would write us a little letter, and it would be like a short like, hi, how are you? I was at the doctor's yesterday. Just like small talk. And it was very sweet. And I decided shortly before she passed away that I was going to correspond with her with other letters, and sadly I only got to send her one before she left us, and that still makes me really sad. I really wish I had written her more letters, but true to her character, hello, thank you for joining us. True to her character, there was a multitude of like unused stationery hidden away in her drawers, so I'll just give you a few highlights of some of the lovely old stationery I found there. I of course only took items that didn't have writing on them, but this lovely paper with like a stamped border and some blank greeting cards like this one. I love how she had like different occasions sort of stowed away. I like this one too. It's so cute. So I imagine some will be used in art projects, and others I will try to utilize as actual stationery so that I can send people letters. I owe somebody a thank you card, actually. They sent me a book for free. Let's see, what's in here? Oh, a chain. A chain that is going to need to be delicately detangled. So I'll do that later. I hope you weren't eating that plant. Kitties. Some more beads. Yeah, lots of costume jewelry. The sad part, in my opinion, I mean the whole thing is sad, but the saddest part in my opinion was that she didn't really get to live in her own house for the last few years before she died, and it just felt lonely, you know what I mean? And I remember when we arrived thinking, gosh, this is the first time I've been in her house since she passed away, and trying to sort of examine how I felt about that, because, you know, it's not my grandma. So I feel a bit, you know, I just feel a little like a fish out of water. Because these treasures, they hold a lot more meaning to, I'm sure, a lot of other people. Not that they would want to keep them, but, you know, they have memory attached to them that I can't connect to, you know what I mean? So, I found this little pouch. I thought it looked cool. Oh, I rescued this from my husband, because he loves toolkits. This is, oh, please don't break the zipper. Pliers and little screwdriver bits. It's pretty neat. All right, what next? Oh, okay, so boxes. I'm pretty sure I've said before that I have a box obsession. It's actually kind of unhealthy. Kind of. So I found that one. And I'm honestly not sure what this is intended for. It looks like it was supposed to be like a game set. Like, you know how sometimes games have like pegs or other accessories that go along with it? But I thought it was the perfect size for one or two of my tarot decks that requires a little home. So it may also have been a little storage box for like index cards. That's another thing that I thought it might be. And then this was just another wood box. What is inside? Oh, some like, you know, fake gold. Some pins from, I want to say this is Sunday school. Because it says the Lutheran Church name on the front. Wow, look at that. Look at all of those awards for something. I think my mother-in-law's had perfect attendance at Sunday school. But it was really more about the box. My husband and I have been on the lookout for a box to store our hand fasting cords. And I think that's actually going to go inside this bad boy. I liked it. There's just a little bit of like water damage right there that I might have to try to dress up a little bit. But, oh yeah, I stored some of the stationery inside here as well to fit. But I just thought this one looked really nice. And it's something that we can keep with the other keepsakes from our wedding. So, and I wanted something where the cord would actually be like protected. So I didn't want it in any old like paperboard box or something. And then finally, this is the end of the boxes, I promise. Finally, we have another jewelry box, and then this one's got like a plate of glass in it, and I think that's intended as a picture frame. So I'm going to carefully dissect this box later and see if I can put a little picture in there and see what comes of that. And then this has like, I found like a pocket watch. Yeah, just like cute old pins. This says 1940 Continental, and then there's an image of an old retro car on it. I just love this stuff. It's, you know, I don't know. It just has all of these like past experiences attached to it, and I'll never know exactly what they are. Oh, okay, so we have only 2 items left, and then they are identical. And I'm pretty excited, but they're really heavy, so bear with me just a second. My husband is calling me again. Nope. Sorry, love. Oh no, I wonder if he's locked out of the house. I haven't heard the doorbell. Oh my god, what was that? Okay. Because I love to keep you in suspense, let me just make sure that my husband isn't locked out of the house. Hold on just a moment, please. It's all right, everyone. I let him in. Hello. I'm glad you're having fun. I'm having fun too. I should do this more often. Okay. Let me catch my breath and check out these horses. So I don't know if these are like just paperweights or they don't, oh, okay, they do have a flat side. So they're bookends. And we have 2 of them now. Aren't they cool? So that's it. That's it. So I guess, well, now I have junk all over my desk. I've given myself no room. So I'm going to start putting things away. And you guys are free to, like, talk at me and ask me questions and stuff, if that is something that you choose to do. Because I'm just going to hang out with y'all for a few more minutes before I say goodnight. So now's your chance. I'm exposed. Ask me what you want. What are you all doing tonight? It's Sunday. Does everybody have like a Monday through Friday job? So what have you been doing? Are you going to start making videos again? Yes, actually I am. I am in the process of writing up a video about tarot that I wanted to do. I want it to be like the many facets of tarot and the things that fascinate me about it. And I am currently making a deck, so nice. I am going to, once I finish the major arcana, I'm going to do, what's the word that I'm looking for? A show and tell? Something? I want to show it off. I want to be able to show you guys my progress, including the major arcana. And then I'm going to have to make some very hard decisions about what I want to do for the minors, and also how I want to produce the deck, if that's something that I'm going to do. I think I will, but you never know. Getting ready to lay the kiddo down, have to work tomorrow. Aw, I'm sorry to hear that. That's always a sad thing. Ooh, vacation for 5 days? How fun! Are you going anywhere, or is it like a staycation? I'm live. It's my husband. Yes? Are you like trying to telepathically talk to me?
Just watching.
He's cornered me. He knows how to make me vulnerable. I actually don't think I'm going to put these back in the box. I'm going to wait till later. I'm going to have to do this all over again because I don't... Staycation, working on my painting. Nice. Okay, so are you a painter on wall media? My live chat says hello to you.
Oh, you can say hello for me too?
He says hello back. That's funny. Staycations are awesome. Actually, my favorite vacation that I've taken in the recent past was a staycation. It was great. It was like having an extended snow day in October. So Rhonda, tell me about your painting. Oh, and then while you're doing that, yeah, so I want to show off my majors, and then I want to try to like, maybe I'll do another live for that, because I want to figure out what I want to name the deck. A deck has to have a name, I'm sorry. I've been working on this still life for way too long. I want to finish. I like still life a lot. I'm better at portraits personally, but I really love still life. That was like my primary reference when I was a kid and I was first doing art, was I would paint vases full of flowers and bowls full of fruit. And I wasn't very good at it yet, but I really loved doing the arranging because there is an art to that. It's all about depth and lighting too, but also I think it has to do with negative space. And that was something that I learned at a very young age. I've always been kind of a nerd. If by nerd we mean just an overly enthusiastic person. Oh. Painter rock. What does that mean? Is that the new rock opera by artists everywhere? I'm excited to see your tarot. I just started working with tarot. Oh, nice. Oh, painter's rock. Okay, cool. I sculpt and can't paint a thing. That's cool. I like sculpture too. I don't have as much practice with it, but I like how textile it is. Textile? Tactile. Those words sound too much like wine. I watercolor just for fun. Hey, art is supposed to be fun. Yes, messy fun. Exactly. Exactly. I do. I mean, like, you can see here, because, like, this is my paint station, is just the surface of my desk, and I always do clean it up. Like, I'll put some rubbing alcohol down here and, like, wipe up the excess paint, but everything is splattered. I have a specific pair of sweatpants. That's not how that was. There you go. I have a specific set of sweatpants that I just don't care if I get paint on, so I put them on when I'm about to paint, and now they're, like, totally colorful. Because I'm not trying to be clean. I like getting my hands dirty. Oh, show your collection of decks. There's a few tags going around. Actually, yeah, I think I'm going to start doing that too. There's one thing. Maybe it's just sort of like a peeve of mine. Not even a peeve. It's not even that bad. But like, I'm very self-conscious about just turning my channel into a tarot channel. I don't want to do that. There's so much more to my practice than just tarot, but I do plan at some point to show off my collection of decks and how I store them. And that's kind of something I wanted to do in that, like, umbrella tarot video, is that I just wanted to, like, bullet point off the different ways that I use them, how I store them, do it all. I want it all, and I want it now. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to do that. Ooh, I got an idea for storing tarot. Ooh, do tell. Do tell. And I do plan at some point to go through my major arcana and, you know, explain what they are, and then from there I think I will try to do a polling or some sort of, like, I'm a shaman, tarot reader, healer, and the list goes on. Cool. At some point I do hope to get some people. You know, when you get a cell phone, they come in those boxes. They're perfect and fun to decorate. Girl, don't even. Oh my God, I have to show you a thing. Hold on a second. I can't believe you brought this up. It's so funny to me. Ugh. Where's the finished one? So one thing that I like to do, is tarot that comes in large boxes, like boxes that are larger than the card, so like, say that big. A lot of them are super fancy. Here's the one from the Tarot Illuminati. I painted the back, and I got something going on in the front, but they have magnets, so I always paper mache over them, and I think I'm going to sell these sometime down the line. But I like repurposing them. I just hate all of, like, the weird advertising and barcodes and stuff that happen on the outside of them, so I have to like fix it. I don't get to do it as often as I want to though, because it takes a lot of time. And right now I'm really focusing on painting, so this is like a side hobby. But yeah, boxes all the way. The iPhone box is great for that. Oh man, how do we like crowdsource for, thank you, how do we crowdsource for like people who are just gonna throw those boxes away, like give them to me? Thank you, I appreciate that. They take a lot of time, which is probably the only downside. So maybe someday, when I don't have a full-time job, I will make that my full-time job, that and my painting, and I'll be self-sufficient. You only have 2 decks. What decks are they? Do tell. Right now I work with my fountain tarot every day. It's what I do with my daily draws. But I've also started working with the Stairs of Gold tarot, which is like a very different tarot than I'm used to. So I'm starting to do Mary L and Shadowscapes, 2 excellent decks, both very beautiful artwork. 2 that I don't own, as a matter of fact. I want the Mary L very badly. I don't know that the Shadowscape speaks to me, but I always really like looking at the artwork. Right now I am working with the Stairs of Gold tarot, which is a challenge for me because it has it's very ornate, and it has a lot of esoteric symbolism in it that I'm not particularly used to. I think it works with a different system, and I believe it's also a pip deck, so that's also something that's totally brand spanking new to me. My son, what does that say? My son's friend works at Apple, so he got me some. They throw them out. Ask your local store. Aw, thanks. I love insider knowledge. I'm totally going to utilize that. I have a wish list going, but I'm just learning tarot. I understand. I've been doing it primarily for myself for 2 years. And I hadn't really been like quote unquote serious about it until maybe 6 months ago. As far as like researching tarot history and study of just different systems of tarot and like historical tarot and sort of the evolution of the cards. 15 years. That's awesome. You're probably looking at me like, you infant. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And the deck that I'm making, which I'm trying to be as humble as I can about, because, you know, other people have 15 years, you know what I mean? Like, everybody has their own level of experience, and I wanted to use painting as a study tool, because I'm kind of a visual learner. I'm also a learner by doing, and it's you know, it's one thing to just like sort of read things out of a book or to journal about them, but to interpret those thoughts and those interpretations of the tarot archetypes into something visual. Just turned 50, been reading longer. Happy belated birthday, Ben. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little tipsy, so I'm starting to like get a little slow. But my tarot paintings are done on cards that I'm repurposing. So the canvas is small, and I'm just trying to do like these quick paintings, quick, very intuitive sort of gut reaction interpretations of the tarot as I study them. And I know pretty much all of the major arcana now very well. When I get to the minors, we'll see how that goes, because I'm like, I might be mad enough to like try to learn the different systems all at the same time. I know that they're very diverse, and every system has like their own sort of like claim to fame. I think the one that we're most familiar with is the Rider-Waite-Smith system, but you know, that is a fairly new and contemporary style of tarot compared to some of the more historical versions. And even now people are are changing them. You know what I mean? Like they're creating their own tarots, and they're reinterpreting these things for a more modern world. Because we're not the same right now. We're sort of disconnected from the sort of esoteric symbolism of the late 19th, early 20th century. Yeah, exactly. Sounds like soul cards. I'm afraid I may not know what that is. Could you care to elaborate, please? Do I have wine mouth? Sometimes my lips get stained. I'm drinking this wine. I don't know if you guys are wine people, but I'm drinking this this wine that is aged in bourbon barrels. It's pretty cool. So it's got like a slightly whiskey essence to it. I don't know how strong it is, but it doesn't take much for me, and it all goes straight to my face. They are an oracle deck that are paintings. Ooh, I'll have to search them. Let me see. I lost the chat. Where'd it go? Soul cards. Ooh. Oh my. Oh, these are great. They feel very nice. You know what? I do that with tarot sometimes too. I find that more obscure decks, like the Thoth deck is actually one that I use this for a lot because I'm unfamiliar with reading with pips, but there is kind of like a halfway point between a quote-unquote scenic card and a pip card that is prevalent in sort of Thoth tradition, Thoth-style decks, where they include other symbolism that is drastically different card to card, and I will use that as inspiration for painting sometime. I'm actually currently working on a larger painting that is inspired by the Three of Discs in the Thoth Tarot. So I use them as like prompts. Have you seen Carol Herzer's decks? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Oh yes, the Illuminated Tarot. They are stunning. A bit out of my price range, but my God. Yeah, she does hand paint them. I love how she does it with like glitter paints, and I'm just that's all the sorts of stuff that brings out my inner like schoolgirl, like wee glitter. The Thoth deck. Some people pronounce it Thoth. It's the deck that was created by Aleister Crowley and Lady Frida Harris. But yeah, they are so beautiful. Newbie to tarot, welcome. Welcome. We might drive you mad with all of our information. That's actually, so one of the things that I hope to talk about with some more depth in the future is that when I went to the UK, I was exposed to a lot of like pagan shops, pagan-friendly shops, a lot of tarot shops, or tarot being sold in bookstores and stuff like that. And I was just, you know, exposed to more of it than I am when I'm at home. So I just sort of fell down the rabbit hole a little bit because I saw there was a lovely display in the Museum of Witchcraft in Boscastle with all of the stuff that Aleister Crowley had sort of done, and there was a color version of like the first edition of Crowley's Thoth Tarot on display, and I was fascinated by it. I was like, I must know more. But then I started Googling it, and I couldn't stop Googling it. You know what I mean? Like every new piece of information led to a new piece of information, and there is a museum. Oh, or do you mean a museum of tarot? But anyway, first I was like, what? Why are these cards different? And there's no kings. And what are these? Yes, the Witchcraft Museum in Boscastle. It is divine. Yes, both. tarot deck of gnomes. I love it. See, I love that. I love the freedom of. You know what's interesting, and I know I'm rambling and I'm sort of like veering here and there, but I'm on a few Facebook groups for tarot, and there was a beautiful discussion recently about the history of tarot and what constitutes the right tarot, and I just felt like such an argument of futility to me, because there is no right tarot. It began as a card game, and people have attempted to draw certain significance from different cultures onto these cards, which, you know, very well may be true, but not that we have any evidence for it, but, you know, it doesn't matter which is the right system, because they all work differently. And I think that's actually one of the benefits for me as a relatively new tarot reader, to try to study them all at the same time, because it sort of weighs things fairly, in my opinion, where I don't necessarily feel too attached to one system. I realize the significance that all of them have to offer, or the fair use that every single one of them has to offer. Rider-Waite-Smith is good for this. Reading with Marseille is good for this. Going pre-Marseille into like some of the more medieval Italian tarots is good for that. And there's even, like, I wasn't even aware until like a month and a half ago that there were other tarots prior to the Frenchified tarot that had like a different amount of court card, or not court cards, major cards. So it wasn't always 22 majors, it was like 16 or something, and they corresponded to different like Roman pagan gods. And what are the different types of tarot? I'm not an expert, so please don't use me as a resource, but I will give you sort of my summary. There is well, I mean, tarot started out as a card game called Triumphs, or Trionfi in Italian. My Italian's terrible. I know I should be better at it because I'm Sicilian, but no dice, guys. But Trionfi was the name of the original game, I believe. And then it turned into tarot, which was sort of like a card game that is... check out Menegello. Yeah, I've seen it. These are all, I mean, like, they're just so fascinating. And the amount of time I spend on YouTube channels that discuss tarot is indecent these days. Like, it's just all I read about and all I watch. It's wonderful. But anyway, it was then sort of adopted by the French. They took it back to France, and sort of, instead of just making it, you know, custom ordered decks for like these Italian aristocrats, they decided to mass produce them for the Mambo Italiano. Anyway, they decided to create more decks, a mass production of tarot for, I suppose, more middle class people, and then it's just sort of progressed from there. Like, there are some people who adhere to, you know, Marseille is only from Marseille, France. Like, anything else that is sort of has a similar reading style or a setup similar to the Marseille deck is not technically Marseille. Then there are people that say that the decks that don't come from Marseille can be Marseille-based if they adhere to some, you know, connective pieces to all of them. So it can get a little harrowing sometimes to like keep everything all in check. And then the English school, like there's the continental school where everything came out of Europe, and they had their own sort of esoteric interpretation of tarot. And then the English school, which came from, you know, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, they had a completely different interpretation of tarot. And they sort of customized it to their own needs. And who's to say, like, who's right? That's the point, right? Like, nobody's right. Everybody just chooses what's right for them. And this discussion that I had with these sort of people on, you know, tarot history about what is right, and somebody was like, oh, well, you know, sometimes they verge thematically away from tarot so much that they're almost oracle cards. And I was like, well, you know, sometimes we have a hard time seeing that line. And that really, was sort of ground home for me when I found out that these decks that like the Il Meneghello, I think, that have like Roman gods as some of their major arcana, you know, they didn't adhere to a 78 card system the way we know it now. But are they still tarot? I think they are. I think as long as a deck of, you know, divination cards can be broken down into different suits, including a trump suit and a minor, you know, set of cards, then that can still be kind of considered tarot. But, you know, it's all sort of, it's you know, it's loosey-goosey. I don't think that we need to be puritanical about it. And he has a shop. I'll be going next year. Oh, nice. I know that there is also a tarot museum somewhere. I don't want to spend too much time on Google while I'm with you guys, though. And, oh my gosh, we're just past the 51-minute mark. And I think I'll stick with you guys for like 15 more minutes, and then I'm going to head out. But thank you again for joining me today. Belgium. Belgium is where the Tarot Museum is. Let's see. Oh. Welcome to Il Meneghello Online. And I also love, from an artist perspective, I tend to have a very liberal view of these things anyway. But I just love how open to interpretation and reinterpretation that tarot can truly be. You can find videos here on YouTube. Of what now? I'm sorry, I may have lost what you were talking about a little bit. Hold on, let me go back. Of his shop. Oh, okay, so you're going to the Il Meneghello shop. Nice. I'll have to check that out. It is a dangerous road to walk down, though. It's truly funny because I don't know. I always kind of knew that ever since I was a teenager, really, that I was going to collect tarot if I had the means to do so. Now I am a tarot collector, and I try to be somewhat modest about it. Like, I realize that this is an extravagance. I certainly don't need these items, and they're finite. You know what I mean? They're just paper. So how can I rely on them more? Sorry, it's late here. Oh, that's okay. Where are you from? How late? Okay, just making sure I'm not missing out on anything important. Where was I? This is what happens when I drink wine and I go live. Start to lose my place a little bit. Drink. Do you guys know how much I love Game of Thrones? Oracle cards, someone just asked what oracle cards are used for. Oracle cards are another divinatory tool. I did. I like props, okay? I like gesticulating with my beverage. Oracle cards are another divinatory tool in card form, but they don't adhere to a tarot structure, so they typically don't have suits. A good example that I have are I only have one Doreen Virtue deck. I've had it ever since I was a teenager, and it's the Goddess Oracle. Yeah, you can use one draw cards. And I've done several spreads with Oracle decks, but I mean, like, you can use them however you want, but they typically have their own sort of theme, or they just don't rely on... Here, let me see if I can dig one out. Oh my god! What am I doing? Yes! Okay. This may not mean much to some of you, but I was turned on by the YouTuber Sacred Seed to create a set of Oracle cards for myself, for my own personal use, based on my favorite video game, which is Final Fantasy X. And I know that it's probably like against so many rules to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to show you some of them. Typically, I'm not going to say always, but most of the time Oracle cards don't come numbered, and it's just one set of cards. Thank you. So these are what the backs look like. I did a little photo collage of my own making of some of the imagery from the game. And then we've literally got video game characters right on the cards, guys. just characters that I think sort of stand in for different personalities, different archetypes and stuff like that. And if anybody's familiar with this game, you'll know that, you know, it gets pretty heady and pretty deep. So this just felt like a really good candidate for that kind of experiment, because I wanted to utilize make playing cards. Did I create it from scratch? I created it through makeplayingcards.com. I obtained all of the images online and manipulated them to fit my needs, but they're not all that way. Some of them are just direct copies of the images, and I'll probably only show the ones that I like, that I edited. Like, they've just been cropped, and oops. You get to fight with these beasts in the game that you summon, and they each have a different element. Like, that's the lightning element, Aeon, called Ixion. Yeah, I'm just so worried about copyrighted laws. I don't want to upset anyone. I was happy that Make Playing Cards did not give me a stink about purchasing these, because I only bought one copy, and like I said, I'm really only using it for my own purposes. And it was an experiment to see how Make Playing Cards produce their decks. I think that they create decent quality decks. This is not a bad thickness of cardstock, so we're gonna see how they do. But I want to get samples from other distributors as well for when I create my own deck, because it's important. Card quality is a thing that tarot collectors typically care about a great deal. And I mean, if you go on like any like tarot Facebook page and you poll a group of 100 people, almost always people will say, you know, they want you know, borderless, or they want shiny gilded edges, or they want and they fit in your hand. Exactly, yeah. A lot of people are very particular about what things they prefer in their own deck, and you know, you want to be true to yourself, but at the same time make sure that other people enjoy using it, because if the cards are too big, I have a couple of decks that the cards are just so enormous, like they're larger than my entire hand, and like, how do you shuffle that? So these are good. They're just standard tarot card size, and I have relatively big hands, but these guys shuffle pretty nicely. And the gilding isn't bad, actually, on this one. It's a little glittery, like it comes off in your fingers, but that's okay. That's honestly not the worst. What would be a typical question you put forth to use with Oracle? I guess you could use any question. I personally wouldn't use a yes-no question. Yeah, daily focus is definitely a good thing. Or I use it as a focus card or a significator card for a tarot reading. That's actually something that I do pretty frequently with my oracle decks, where you take your oracle deck, you maybe ask what, yeah, your focus should be. You give it a shuffle, you pull a card, and then you expand upon that using, yeah, I guess you could use another oracle deck as well, but you could also use tarot. It's, again, nothing that has any real hard and fast rules. And that's what I like about it. I like being able to personalize certain practices. And there's something very freeing about cartomancy. That's quite like that. Something that I just really like. I don't know. Alright, guys. We have passed the 1 hour mark. I really appreciate you guys sitting with me today. Marielle is huge. I know so many people that trim that deck. It does. It just looks enormous. Nighty-night time. So yeah, I am gonna sign off here very shortly. If you have any final thoughts that you must expel, do so now. And then I will finally say goodnight. But yes, more videos to come. And I'll definitely try to show off some more of my favorite decks for my collection, since I know that people like it. I also kind of want to do some reviews of some of the decks. It's been fun. Can't wait to see more. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. All right. Thanks, guys. Aw, oh, I wish I could give you all a big virtual hug. Squeeze. All right. Here's to you, YouTube, world, everyone that's watching currently and afterwards. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you next time. Sweet dreams, guys. Mwah.